Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to today's presentation. We're going to explore how to overcome challenges in Copilot adoption and maximize your return on investment. The focus will be on strategies for effective implementation, data management, and engaging your employees. Over the next few slides, we'll cover key insights and practical tips to help you succeed. So let's get started. Welcome to this slide on overcoming challenges in Copilot adoption and maximizing ROI. Understanding these challenges is really the first step toward unlocking the full potential of Copilot. Proper planning and execution are absolutely essential for success here. Many organizations face common misconceptions and sometimes lack the necessary preparation, which can create roadblocks along the way. These issues often lead to confusion and ultimately stalled deployments, making it harder to realize the benefits that Copilot can offer. It's important to realize that the problem isn't usually with the technology itself. Instead, the real challenge lies in how companies roll out and implement it. Poor deployment strategies can significantly hinder its effectiveness and prevent organizations from achieving their goals. Another key point is that many had high expectations, perhaps expecting Copilot to instantly boost productivity. But the reality is that results often fall short when implementation isn't handled properly. Managing expectations and ensuring a thoughtful, well-planned deployment are critical for turning Copilot into a true productivity booster. When we look at marketing demos, they often give us the impression that Copilot can produce instant, perfectly polished outputs, but the reality is quite different. These demos tend to overlook the critical steps needed to actually achieve meaningful productivity gains. It's not just about seeing a shiny result, it's about aligning processes, preparing teams, and ensuring everyone is on the same page. Technology alone, no matter how advanced, can't simply rewrite our processes, cultural habits, or daily routines. Without that necessary alignment and preparation, the productivity improvements we hope for remain just out of reach. And let's talk about a common misconception: the idea that flipping a switch and turning on Copilot will double staff productivity overnight. That's a myth. While demos might show quick wins, they omit the essential context of change management and preparation needed to make these tools truly effective. So the key takeaway here is that instant results are appealing, but they're not the whole story. Real productivity gains require effort, alignment, and realistic expectations. So let's talk about the reality of early Copilot use and some of the challenges we've encountered. One common issue is that employees often struggle to identify the specific tasks that Copilot is meant to assist with. This lack of clarity can really hinder its seamless integration into daily workflows, making it harder for teams to see the immediate value. When we roll out Copilot, it sometimes feels more like a trial than a true transformation. For many, the impact isn't immediately measurable in the first week, which can lead to uncertainty about its effectiveness. This initial hesitation can cause usage to drop off as employees revert back to their old routines, especially if they're not seeing quick wins or sustained engagement. Another challenge is that employees often begin to question the accuracy of Copilot's output. When that happens, it creates a sense of uncertainty about how best to use the tool and whether it's reliable enough for their needs. And of course, initial excitement tends to fade quickly after the launch and demo. People are curious at first, but that curiosity can fade when they start asking, "What tasks is this actually for?" So, in summary, early adoption can be quite challenging. Without clear guidance, measurable impact, and sustained engagement, teams can quickly become skeptical or disengaged. It's a natural part of the process, but understanding these hurdles helps us develop better strategies moving forward. Let's talk about the core misunderstanding around business value when it comes to tools like Copilot. Many believe that simply adopting these tools will automatically generate significant business benefits. But the truth is, overcoming challenges in Copilot adoption requires a strategic approach. It's not just about turning the tool on. It's about designing clear processes and fostering a shared understanding across the organization. This is essential if we want to scale the benefits effectively. Productivity, for example, only truly increases when the tools are aligned with the company culture and existing workflows. When tools fit seamlessly into day-to-day operations, they become a natural part of how work gets done. However, without a clear understanding of where and how Copilot adds value, adoption becomes inconsistent. People might use it in different ways, or not at all, which limits the potential for scalable benefits across the organization. A common misconception is thinking that if Copilot can draft emails or summarize meetings, that's enough to create real business value. But that's just the surface. To truly realize the value, we need a deeper understanding of how these tools support our organization's broader goals. It's about connecting the dots between individual tasks and strategic outcomes, ensuring that the technology delivers measurable impact. Let's talk about the trust barrier, specifically the data quality issues that can impact Copilot. When data isn't accurate or consistent, it can turn Copilot from a helpful productivity tool into a liability. Ensuring the data is reliable is crucial to keeping its effectiveness high. Now, there's a significant productivity challenge here. If users lose trust in the tool because of poor data, Copilot risks becoming just another unused icon on the toolbar. This shift can really undermine its role as a valuable workplace assistant. This leads us to the risk of tool abandonment. When Copilot produces incorrect outputs, user trust gets broken. Once trust is lost, employees might stop using it altogether, which diminishes its potential to boost productivity. Finally, the core of this issue is the dependence on data quality. If the data sources are fragmented, outdated, or inconsistent, Copilot may generate outputs that sound confident but are actually wrong. This can be misleading and ultimately damage user confidence in the tool. So, maintaining high-quality data is essential for Copilot to truly serve its purpose effectively. When we look at the chaos of content landscapes, it's clear that humans have a natural ability to navigate this chaos using context and judgment. We can assess information, decide what's relevant, and prioritize accordingly. But Copilot, on the other hand, doesn't possess this kind of judgment. It treats all information equally, which can lead to responses that lose credibility because it might be pulling from inaccurate or irrelevant sources. This difference highlights a key challenge. While humans can discern the quality of content, Copilot cannot. It treats every document as valid, regardless of its accuracy. This can cause conflicting answers, which undermines trust in the tool's reliability. Another layer of complexity comes from how we organize content. For example, using personal shorthand or inconsistent naming conventions can make it harder for Copilot to find what you need quickly. These inconsistent practices hinder efficient search and retrieval, making the entire process less effective. Then, there's the issue of multiple versions of the same document. When different versions exist, it's tough to identify the most recent or accurate one. This versioning challenge adds confusion and increases the risk of working from outdated information. Finally, content is often scattered across various repositories: SharePoint, Teams, email attachments, legacy file shares. This fragmentation makes it difficult to locate and manage information efficiently. Overall, these issues create a chaotic landscape, but understanding them helps us develop strategies to overcome these challenges and maximize the value of Copilot. Let's talk about the risks of misinformation, especially as we work to overcome challenges in Copilot adoption and maximize our ROI. Now, bad data doesn't just slow down our decision-making process. It can actually mislead us entirely. For instance, Copilot might pull outdated campaign metrics from old decks, which can give us a false sense of certainty during leadership meetings. This highlights how critical it is to ensure our data is current and accurate. Outdated data can lead us to make decisions based on inaccuracies, ultimately affecting our results and strategic direction. So, staying vigilant about data quality is key to making informed, confident decisions and fully realizing the benefits of Copilot. Building a solid data foundation is essential for making the most of Copilot. When we lay the groundwork properly, We transform Copilot from just a fun tool into a trusted analyst that can deliver reliable insights. This shift is crucial for maximizing ROI. Transforming Copilot involves establishing governance rules that help us archive old content effectively. These rules ensure that we don't lose valuable data over time. Additionally, access policies need to be aligned with Copilot's capabilities and needs, so the right people can access the right information without unnecessary barriers. Disciplined data management is another key piece. This means implementing a consistent taxonomy. Think of it as a well-organized labeling system to prevent haphazard or confusing categorization. When data is managed carefully, it becomes more reliable and easier to analyze, ultimately helping us get better insights and make smarter decisions. Let's talk about establishing sources of truth. Having clear sources of truth creates a reliable baseline for our AI systems to operate on. When we have this foundation, it supports more accurate and consistent outputs, which in turn helps us work more efficiently across the organization. Now, without a clear source of truth, Copilot can end up making independent decisions, leading to conflicting answers. This kind of ambiguity undermines the trustworthiness of AI outputs, which is something we definitely want to avoid. So, what are the risks if we don't define these sources? Organizations need to agree on a single authoritative source for each critical project or domain. This authoritative source overrides any duplicates or side files, ensuring consistency and reliability across the board. In essence, having one single, trusted source is key to maximizing the value of our AI efforts and minimizing confusion. It keeps everyone on the same page and ensures our AI outputs are dependable, supporting our overall goal of smarter, more efficient operations. Let's take a closer look at the data management checklist and how it helps us overcome challenges in Copilot adoption while maximizing ROI. These steps are essential because they build a dependable foundation for Copilot's success. First, having a strong data management strategy is absolutely critical. It ensures we can leverage these advanced tools effectively and get the most value from them. Now, to start, we need to lay the foundation for Copilot by setting clear retention, archiving, and access policies. This means managing the entire lifecycle of our documents carefully, so outdated drafts don't clutter our systems, and only relevant, up-to-date data is used. Next, implementing document policies is key. Enforcing simple taxonomy and nomming conventions makes our live files easy to identify. When everyone uses consistent nomming, errors decrease, and collaboration becomes much smoother. And finally, we want to standardize file nomming and organize our data sources. By inventorying our top value data sources and establishing a single source of truth for each major project, we create clarity. This clarity helps reduce confusion across teams and ensures everyone is working from the same reliable data. Altogether, these steps help us build a solid data foundation, which is essential for Copilot to truly succeed and deliver maximum value. Let's talk about the importance of long-term data discipline. One key point is that postponing data management tasks might seem like a time saver initially, but it often leads to much bigger problems down the road. When data isn't properly managed early on, it can cause confusion and errors later, which can really hinder Copilot's effectiveness. Sometimes, users might blame the AI or Copilot itself for mistakes, but more often, the root cause is a flawed data environment. That's why it's so critical to address data quality issues proactively. Now, a vital part of this is enforcing nomming conventions. Consistent nomming helps prevent misunderstandings and makes it easier to find and use data across different systems. Think of it as creating a common language for everyone to follow, which saves time and reduces errors. Cleaning repositories and retiring duplicates also play a huge role. These tasks require discipline and ongoing effort, but they're essential to keep our data environment organized and trustworthy. It's not just a one-time cleanup, it's an ongoing process. Finally, effective data management isn't something it can do alone. It demands continuous collaboration across various departments. Maintaining data integrity is a shared responsibility. It's a collective effort that needs regular attention and coordination. Only then can we truly maximize ROI from tools like Copilot and ensure our data environment supports our broader goals. Let's talk about choosing the right use cases for Copilot. Selecting relevant use cases is crucial because it encourages team buy-in. When everyone sees the tangible benefits, adoption becomes much smoother. It helps ease the transition and makes integrating Copilot into daily operations more natural. Now, focusing on efficiency is key. By targeting repetitive tasks, we can achieve significant time savings. This allows our teams to shift their focus toward more strategic initiatives that add greater value. It's also vital to address staff pain points. When we pick use cases that solve real problems for our staff, it drives higher adoption rates. Plus, it leads to measurable improvements in workflows and outcomes, making the benefits clear to everyone involved. Finally, identifying high-impact tasks is about maximizing ROI. The real value comes from applying Copilot to tasks that are frequent, time-consuming, or high-risk. Examples include recurring regulatory reports, monthly finance packages, or IT intake requests, all of which tend to be repetitive and resource-intensive. By carefully selecting these high-impact use cases, we ensure that our investment in Copilot delivers the greatest return while making a real difference in our daily work. Let's talk about the problem with trivial use cases when it comes to Copilot adoption. Sustained interest in using this technology really depends on addressing meaningful and impactful challenges. If we focus only on trivial tasks, it can actually undermine long-term adoption and trust in the tool. This is because maintaining interest over time requires showing real value, not just quick wins. When the use cases are low impact, it often creates doubt about the overall utility of the technology. People start to wonder if it's really worth investing in if the benefits aren't substantial or transformative. And this skepticism can lead to stalled adoption, especially after the initial curiosity wears off. Users might lose interest if they don't see compelling value or clear advantages. Think about it. At first, people are curious and excited, but that initial curiosity can fade quickly. If the tasks are just cosmetic or low impact, like drafting simple emails or formatting slides, they might impress briefly. But these kinds of tasks don't justify the licensing costs or long-term investment. Because shaving minutes off minor tasks, it doesn't really move the needle or change the bigger picture. In the end, trivial tasks lack the impact needed to sustain interest and trust in the technology. And that's why focusing on meaningful use cases is crucial for long-term success with Copilot. Now that we've seen the initial results from our pilots, it's important to use these measured gains to craft a compelling success story. This story will be key in demonstrating value and encouraging broader adoption across the organization. Once we have a strong success story, we can leverage it to gain leadership support and champion further deployment of Copilot. To do that effectively, we need to track the time it takes to complete key tasks before and after deploying Copilot. This helps us clearly quantify the efficiency improvements, showing tangible benefits that resonate with stakeholders. Next, we implement Copilot to automate a specific process. It's crucial that the process we choose is repeatable and impactful, so the visible gains are maximized and meaningful. We recommend starting small. Begin with just one team and one high-impact, repeatable process. Examples could include automating compliance filings, standardizing finance reporting, or triaging IT support tickets. This focused approach allows us to demonstrate quick wins and build momentum for wider adoption. Today, I want to share a case study that highlights a successful pilot shift in our Copilot adoption. We faced some initial challenges, as often happens with new technologies, but through strategic planning and collaboration, we managed to overcome them. The key was to identify the specific pain points early on and tailor our approach to address them effectively. By involving stakeholders at every stage and providing targeted training, we ensured smoother onboarding and greater buy-in from the team. This not only helped us maximize the return on investment, but also demonstrated how persistent effort and adaptability can turn obstacles into opportunities. Ultimately, this case illustrates the importance of a thoughtful, user-centric approach when implementing AI solutions. It reinforces our overall theme. With the right strategies, we can unlock significant value and drive successful digital transformation. Now, let's talk about overcoming employee pushback. It's a common challenge when adopting AI solutions like Copilot, and if we don't address these concerns, adoption can slow down or even stall, no matter how advanced the technology is. Employee resistance can really derail even the best plans for implementation. One key issue is trust. When AI provides confident language without clear human oversight, it can actually increase anxiety among staff. People want transparency. They need to understand how AI arrives at its results, or they'll struggle to trust it. Without that trust, the benefits of AI can be lost. Another major concern is the fear of automation replacing human roles. Many employees worry their jobs are at risk, which creates a lot of anxiety and resistance. This fear can undermine their confidence in AI and its potential to help, rather than replace, their work. And then there's the workload pressure. Often, employees are already overwhelmed with their current responsibilities. Adding new technologies feels like just another burden, and they may feel they don't have the time or energy to experiment with AI tools. This stress can make them resistant to change. All these factors, workload pressure, fear of job loss, mistrust of outputs, are interconnected. Resistance often stems from these combined concerns. They make employees hesitant to embrace new solutions, which is why addressing these issues is so critical to successful AI adoption. Let's talk about enablement through role-based playbooks. These are concise, role-specific guides designed to show exactly where Copilot fits into your daily tasks. They help clarify how to use the tool effectively, and importantly, how to verify its outputs. By providing clear instructions tailored to different roles, we build confidence among employees. This reduces uncertainty and skepticism about when and how to leverage Copilot. Essentially, these playbooks act as guardrails, giving everyone a clear path to maximize the tool's potential. When teams understand their specific use cases, they can adopt Copilot more smoothly and confidently, which ultimately helps us maximize ROI and overcome adoption challenges. Let's talk about a practical approach to deepening understanding of Copilot. When employees see how it works in real situations, they become more comfortable and confident using it. This approach also helps build trust because people see firsthand how Copilot can support their daily work. Rather than relying on generic training sessions, I recommend short, scenario-based training. These sessions focus on real tasks employees actually perform. By practicing in the context of their workday, they learn faster and more effectively. Assigning champions within pilot teams is another key step. These champions gain hands-on experience with Copilot and then coach their peers during actual workflows. This peer-to-peer support encourages collaboration and makes the learning process more natural and less intimidating. Overall, empowering local champions and using real-world scenarios helps overcome adoption challenges and maximizes ROI, making the transition smoother and more successful. Let's talk about overcoming challenges in Copilot adoption and how to maximize ROI. First, it's important to communicate to employees that Copilot is there to support them. When we frame it this way, it helps shift perceptions from fear to empowerment. People start to see it as a helpful tool rather than a threat. Next, we need to emphasize that final sign-off and judgment still rest with humans. This is crucial because it reassures staff that they remain in control and responsible for decisions. By doing this, we help shift mindsets from viewing Copilot as a rival to seeing it as an assistant that enhances their work. Managers play a key role here. They should openly reassure their teams that Copilot is meant to augment their capabilities, not replace their jobs. Repeating this message consistently helps change the narrative from one of threat to support. Finally, addressing job security concerns openly is vital. When employees understand that their roles are evolving but not disappearing, they're more likely to embrace the tool and see it as a partner in their success. This approach ultimately leads to a smoother adoption process and better ROI. When it comes to overcoming challenges in Copilot adoption, placing it in the right context is key to minimizing disruptions to existing workflows. By integrating Copilot thoughtfully, we can actually enhance user adoption and improve overall efficiency. One of the most effective ways to do this is by reducing friction. Embedding Copilot where work already happens, like within project workspaces or ticket queues, makes it feel like a natural part of daily routines. This way, users don't see it as an extra step or an obstacle, but rather as a helpful tool that fits seamlessly into their workflow. Another critical point is seamless integration. Copilot needs to be embedded into the tools and processes people already use. For example, if approvals happen in Teams chats but Copilot suggestions appear only in Outlook, that disconnect can hinder adoption. So, ensuring that Copilot works smoothly across platforms and within the same workflows is essential for encouraging widespread use. Ultimately, by embedding Copilot into the right contexts and workflows, we make it easier for users to adopt and maximize its value, leading to better outcomes and a higher return on investment. When processes flow more smoothly, your staff will stop noticing Copilot as a separate feature. This subtle shift is actually the foundation for sustainable and measurable ROI. Instead of vanity metrics like clicks or prompt counts, which only show curiosity, we need to focus on embedding Copilot into workflows. When integrated seamlessly, it becomes an invisible system that truly accelerates work. You can see this in metrics like shorter first response times in ticket queues, thanks to AI assistance. These improvements highlight real error reduction and increased efficiency. Similarly, when the average time to approval decreases, it's a clear sign that workflows are becoming more streamlined, leading to genuine time savings and productivity gains that impact overall business outcomes. Ultimately, the true ROI from Copilot comes when we measure core business processes, not just usage statistics. For example, report completion rates tend to improve after integration, indicating that Copilot is adding real value behind the scenes. So remember, the key is to focus on meaningful metrics that reflect how Copilot is transforming your workflows and driving real results.